Welcome to episode 18 of the Rebel Army podcast, the official podcast of Cork City Football Club. And this week, we have a little review of the women's team with Danny Murphy. Welcome back to the podcast. How are you, Aaron?
Not too bad. How are you?
Good. Massive feedback from last week's episode.
Yeah, huge listenership to it, which is brilliant, and majority positive feedback as well.
Yeah, which is always kind of, you don't know how people are going to take interviews like that. You know, people are saying, oh, is it going to be biased or whatever towards the club? But I think the one thing that I got back, and I've got a couple of messages, was the honesty.
Yeah, and that's what we wanted, and look, Dermot's all about that as well. He's quite happy to tell it how it is or tell things how they were, and that's, I think, what came across last week.
Yeah, I got a slagging at the match the other night from a few people. People were saying, I thought it was an official podcast. You were grilling them there like it was prime time or something.
But you know what? It's good as well that we, as a podcast, we're not sort of afraid to shy away from stuff either. Like, we'll ask whatever questions are necessary as well.
It's important.
At appropriate times.
And there was a couple of good things. It was fascinating. The coverage you got, actually, I see it appeared on the Examiner, and if there was a few other sites, I don't know, it was a Yea Cork or Cork View or something.
Yeah, there was little excerpts taken out of it as well about
the 42 or someone.
Parky Queeve, yeah.
The Parky Queeve thing definitely got a bit of coverage, definitely. I knew it would though as well.
Oh, definitely, yeah. As soon as you asked the question, I was like, I'm going to see this now.
And the bit about Shawnee Maguire as well got a bit of coverage as well.
And I didn't even use it as clickbait.
Yeah, you didn't use that.
I thought about it.
Shawnee Maguire.
Yeah, I thought about it, but I didn't in the end.
All I was waiting for is for the Brizio Romano coming on saying Shawnee Maguire isn't signing for Cork City.
Rumours stemming from local podcasts.
Yeah, but no, great feedback, and I'd say definitely probably one of our top episodes, I'd say.
Yeah, it's shot right up there. I think at the minute it's sitting at the number 2 spot, but the rate it's going to take number 1. If you're listening to this one and you haven't heard that as well, by the way, go back and listen to it. It's a long one, but it's a good chat. It's a good insight into kind of what happened so far, what's currently happening, and what will happen over the next year or so as well. And there's a lot of exciting stuff in there as well, like there
is, yeah.
He announced about the kit.
The kit that got a lot of talk online as well.
It's something. It's sort of like, uncharted territory for us as a club and for a lot of football clubs really. But it's something we're excited about and we're confident it's going to be good. So that'll be the 2025 kits.
Are you changing logos for that? What's the story? What were you doing on Twitter?
Yeah, look, us graphic designer types we make things and we post things. I was doing that. I was bored the other night watching the Apple event, and I started redrawing the old Cork City crest, but modern. But no, we're not changing logos. I had a few tweets about tweets and DMs and stuff being like, I didn't know we were changing. We're not. I get bored sometimes.
Yeah. No, I think we've changed it.
It was really nice though, yeah. We've changed it enough, but it was really nice. There was good feedback, but we're not changing it.
I'd say we probably have the record for a club with the amount of different crests we've had over.
Bray Wanderers have taken that the last couple of years, to be fair, yeah. I think they've had 3 crests in the last 4 years. So
okay, we'll give them that.
They can have that title, yeah. We'll happily take the number 2 spot behind them.
Good weekend for the men anyway.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Good weekend for Conor Drinan anyway.
It was a great weekend for Conor.
Yeah, he could have had a hat-trick. I was chatting to him that shot early on, he's kind of trickling in the far post and the keeper tapped around the post. That would have been a first half hat-trick for him.
Yeah.
Unreal.
You see, he was disappointed when he's taken off in the second half, to be honest.
Yeah, do you know what? Like, he'd been out injured for so long and he's come back in the fold the last couple of weeks. But that was a brilliant performance from him, like an individual performance. Brilliant. Could have had more goals, as you said. He was disappointed looking to come off, and that's brilliant.
There was Ronaldo vibes off that head, or the way he got up into the air.
So high, yeah. What a leap.
Yeah, it was brilliant, and a win at the cross.
A clean sheet again, which is great. That's, I think, 7 goals conceded total across the 20 games now, which is, that's incredible. Like,
no, it's brilliant. No, that's what that's what we needed. No, because we had, obviously we had was it 3 draws in a row at home, I think.
Yeah, Wexford 3 to UCD.
Yeah. You're
and a loss in the middle of that, then,
and a loss as well. So it was great to get back to winning ways. The crowd was okay, probably a bit down maybe, but it's a bank holiday. Not a bank holiday. It's the summer. It's
we had so many home games in a row as well.
That's what it was, because you had the bank holiday Monday, then you went into the Friday. People, and there's a lot of festivals and
if you look at the games that are there in terms of like things being at stake, like UCD was a top of the table clash.
Yeah,
Cove is Cove. That's a local Cork derby. Not to disrespect Longford Town or anything like that, but like there wasn't a whole lot at stake there lower down the table. It wasn't sort of like a big draw,
But you're talking 3 games in about what 10 or 11 days,
something like that.
You know what I mean? So people are probably cherry picking their games. Like,
yeah, we've got Cove this week on a Thursday. Again, a different one for us.
Unusual.
Could be a big crowd, could be a poor crowd. We don't know. We've never played on a Thursday, or not recently anyway. And then I know we've got the mid-season break, but we're actually back at home again after the mid-season break,
right.
First game. So like, there's a hell of a lot of home games coming up. It's a lot to ask of people. Brilliant that people have been coming, of course, and the atmosphere is at them. Although the crowds have been down, the atmosphere is still incredible. Like, there was a lovely moment actually on Friday against Longford where the team were coming off and they all just kind of stopped in front of the shed. They just kind of stayed where they were in front of the shed, applauded the shed, and that was class. But yeah, a lot of football, a lot of home games, and it's a lot to ask of people, and it's happened because of the works at Turner's Cross early on in the season where we had to play a few away games. But nearly out of the way, we've got Cove, as we said, break, then Bray, and then we're back on the road. So normality is kind of back then after these couple of games.
The women's team are playing as well at the weekend at the Cross. Wasn't as good for them though.
Yeah, 1-0 defeat. One of those games actually where, it wasn't an overall like a bad performance or anything like that. It was just Athlone are really good. They won the cup last year. They've got a really good squad, good manager. Danny wasn't too downbeat. I don't think the players were too downbeat after it. It was just one of those games where you're beaten.
Well, we're going to find out from him anyway.
Exactly, yeah. He'll touch on that because he's back.
Yeah, the first person to come back. Connor was here twice. We forgot about Connor. But he was only making cameo appearances.
Yeah.
So...
I suppose Danny is the first returning guest as such.
First feature guest.
Feature
guest. But I think it's good. We're kind of halfway in the season, I know. Like, when there's 8 games with just 20 in total.
Yeah, do you know what? It's so stop-start in the women's game as well, and obviously we've had cup games, but like, I actually spoke to Danny about it the other day. Like, there was an international break, so you're off, you're back for one game. We're off next week because we're the idle team. Back the week after. It's very stop-start, so it's difficult from their point of view to get a bit of a consistent run going. But as you said, we're thereabouts halfway again, so probably a good time for him to come in and reflect on the season so far, the new signings, the players he kept, the players who maybe are to come in over the next couple of weeks or months as the window opens. But I
think he's actually here, so we might as well just drive on at this point. I think. Welcome back to the podcast, Danny.
Yeah, no, good. It's been a while.
Must be about 3 months. I think the last time we spoke was just before the first game of the season, maybe about a week beforehand. It was a tricky start. It was 2 defeats. How are you feeling now, though?
Yeah, no, look, we kind of knew that the start of the season was going to be difficult. We knew Galway were going to compete in at the top end of the table, and we knew, look, Peamount always were going to be up there, and it was a case of, look, can we improve on last year in end games? I think we did in the Peamount game. I think a lot went on in the Galway game in the build-up to the actual match on the day.
There was a change of venue at the last
change of venue, and we was already in Galway. It was just it was a bit all over the place, and I think there was far too much disruption. Pitch wasn't ideal, but like when you're up in Galway and you're there as the team and you've paid the money to go up there, like you're like going, you can't really go and not play the game. Like, so we were there in the hotel and we're like, look, waiting around for an hour to decide what's going on, and it was like, look, the game's got to go ahead. We're here now, and then look, we didn't perform very well on the day, and I think the biggest thing for me was after that game was the players, in terms of they knew it wasn't acceptable. They sat down in the dressing room after, and it was quite funny actually, like, because we kind of brought some things in this year in terms of like what we expect from them to do and how we expect them to leave certain things and things we expect Cork City Football Club to have standards to. And we walked in the dressing room after the game, like, to collect all the stuff, and the place was spotless. Like, literally, it was cleaner than what it was when we went in there. And I think that was, for us, was the point of, well, like, they get it, they understand. And I think since then we've really drove on and played really well in games. We've had 1 or 2 performances we could have done better in, but I think we're still improving and we're still getting better, and we're going to have games where it don't quite go our way and you don't play the way you want. And I think that happens even at the top level, but we're trying to build a level of consistency in our performance, and we feel that we've done that a lot better this year.
You're right in the middle of it. I suppose you're 6 out of 11. It's not a bad way to be at this time of the season, I suppose, with a young team, is it?
No, it's brilliant to be where we are, and look, we still think we can achieve more. We still drive our standards to be higher, and we want to finish as high up the table as we can. Our goal was to always improve on last year, and to be in a better position this year. And I think we're doing that at the moment. And look, we've got to beat the teams that are around us that are going to compete for the top 5 positions. And, you know, and when we're playing against the top teams, and we've got to be, we've got to kind of be more productive in them games and be defensively better organised. And I think we've done that very well at the weekend. I think Athlone just were very aggressive in the second half and how they played, and not just in terms of their physical attributes, it was more in terms of the way they played. They didn't let us out of our half, and we struggled a little bit in the second half with possession. Like, we didn't. I think you've got to be brave then when teams are bombarding you, is to go, look, we've got to get the ball down and we've got to play, because we were trying to get out by playing longer passes and we wasn't really effective with it because we wasn't getting out. And I think you've got to be brave and go, look, bring the ball down, take it out of the air, get it down, pass it, try and play through the thirds and break lines and counter-attack off that. And we've done that really well in the first half. We just struggled with it a little bit in the second half.
Is goals a struggle this season? 6 goals in 8 games. Is that kind of the thing that needs to be improved going into kind of the second half of the season?
Yeah, definitely. I think, look, we probably haven't been a high scoring team over the last couple of years, really, and we need to score more goals, and we all know that, but we need more contributions from other players on the pitch. You can't, you know, rely on Colleen getting a chance and scoring. I think we've got to have more contributions, and set pieces. We've had, you know, look, they're a big thing for us, and I think we've had nearly 44 corners, and we haven't had a goal off one of them, and we've had a couple of half chances, and they're improving every week. But we probably had a little bit more of a focus on conceding less off set pieces this year, and we've done that really, really well. And that's something we want to continue going into the rest of the season. But I think if you look at stats within the league in terms of from a set piece point of view, that teams who score from set pieces are probably in the top 3 or 4. So we've got to try and score more goals off set pieces. We've had, I think the one set piece we scored off is the free kick from Eva and Dorothea's goal against Shamrock Rovers. And look, we're a threat. We've got some decent height. We've got some good attacking players in them areas. We've just got to find the flight of the ball a little bit better, and we have a little bit more consistency in the delivery.
Dermot was on the podcast last week, and his highlight of the season, he said, was beating Rovers 1-0. That must be up there for you as well, I'd say. Yeah,
no, definitely. I think any time you beat Rovers is always a highlight, and I know people are going to hate me because I played there. But, but like, no, look, I think in terms of what they brought to the Women's League when they first come in to try and build that professionalism, and the way I think things that especially the Twitter accounts and the social media accounts kind of highlight everything they do, and it's kind of rubbed a lot of people up the wrong way. And I think that, so when people are out to beat them and out to want to, you know, put one over on them, and so like anytime people do get a result against them, it's highlighted. But like, I think we were excellent in that game, played really, really well. You know, we deserved everything we got. We've played them 3 or 4 times and been very dominant for like 45 to 60 minutes within a game, and not kind of got the results, and then kind of capitulated a little bit and lost quite heavily. But we've always felt that we've had their number at times, and we want to be more consistent with that when we play against the top teams. Look, they're a top team with some excellent players, but I think we've got some really excellent players, but we're young and we're going to be naive and we're going to make mistakes. Like, you know, for Saturday, the mistake for the goal, and look, it's from playing out, and like, I want to play. Like, we're not a team that can go long and kick from goal kicks all the time. And like, whenever you kick it high from a goal kick, it's a 50-50 ball. Like, whoever's going to get it, and like playing out from the back, you got on that 80 to 90% chance you're going to keep possession of the ball. So like, we want to keep the ball for longer periods, and that's why we want to play out. And look, we're going to make mistakes doing it because we're young, but we're going to learn from it, and we're going to keep trying to improve. Because I think if you look at the game on Saturday, we probably played out majority of the time from the back, and we've given the ball away once that's led to a goal. Where that's football, like it's going to happen. But can we be more productive when we do play out? Because we had a really good chance when we played out, and it was 2 minutes into the game, and Colleen was through on goal, and like looking back on the video, and she's at least a yard onside. So like, if you score off that, everyone's going, "Oh, brilliant! You played out from the goalkeeper, worked it in, got a shot." But people will highlight the one mistake that's made and leads to a goal. And look, we see the positives in it, and there was a lot of positives in what we did on the weekend.
And what's the morale like in the dressing room? Are they, you know, I know they're off the back of 2 defeats now, but in general, like, how are they feeling about the season? You know, how are the girls feeling? Yeah,
the girls they're optimistic. They feel we're in the right place of how we've done so far, but we still feel we can improve on things and get better. We feel like we've dropped a couple of results during the year, especially losing at home to Treaty was a poor result.
Especially with the cameras there and everything, I suppose. There was a bit of momentum behind the team at the time, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was, and we were disappointed in that as a staff and as a group of players. And since then we've kicked on again and we've improved. And look, we felt like we could have got a draw out the game the weekend, and we feel like we could have beaten DLR earlier on in the season. So there's a couple of results we've dropped points in that we feel we should have done better with. But they're results that last year we were walking away from not winning and being disappointed that we didn't get a draw. Well, we're looking at games now going, we should have got a win. And I think that the mentality is a big mentality shift, and that we are Cork City Football Club. We're a big club. When we're going to places, we were expecting to win them. And the players we've brought in have drove the standard, and the younger girls that have come in and the girls that are playing week in, week out with consistency of a similar sort of team every week, as they've got drive and ambition, and they want to have success at the football club.
You talk about a big club, how do you feel about attendances and stuff this year? Are you happy with it, or would you think we should be having more? Or
we always want more. You always want more. I think that if you look at it overall in the league, we're probably the most consistent in terms of the numbers we get every week. I think we average around, I think Aaron can probably correct me on it later, but around 350, 360 at a game. And I'd say we're probably, if you look across our league, I don't think many other clubs are doing that. And we probably do a lot better than some first division clubs do. You look at like Longford and Cove and teams like that our consistency in terms of the clubs, people we get coming to games is better than theirs.
Yeah. So, and I know they were trying to break the record with the Treaty game, but actually it was Galway beat it, wasn't it, at the time? But, I suppose the likes of Eva getting called up to the Irish squad probably shines a bit of a spotlight on the club again, and maybe, especially with, underage girls around the city might want to come and look at her, would they?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, look, Eva getting called up was a massive proud moment for everyone involved in the football club. I think, for Eva, the work she's done over a period of time since I've been here to get herself to that. And look, we had some goals with Eva at the start of the season. One of them was to make a home-based camp, or to make a senior international camp. And look, that's one box ticked. And now, as I said to Eva, now you want to stay there. Now trying to find a consistency in performance where you can stay there and keep kicking on yourself. Don't rest on that. That's now a chance to kick on and be better and try to keep improving. And, she's a very driven young girl. And I think, look, if you look across our club in terms of what we have from under 17s and 19s, we have a lot of girls that get picked, and it's not just Eva Mangan. You've got the likes of Kira Senna, Clodagh Fitz, Heidi Mackin, Neve Cotter. All these girls and Chloe and Ellie, they've all played international level with, Ola as well. And they're girls that you're going to see in Ireland camps in the future. And if they keep progressing the way they are, they will. And for young girls to come out, the amount of young girls that just wanted to get Eva's signature after the game, and it was amazing to see where's Eva? Can get Eva to come over? And we've got more young girls coming through that are going to be players that people will look up to. And if I'm a parent and my daughter plays football, I'm like, bring them out, come and let them see. Have people to look up to and go oh, I see what she does in a game. I want to be like that. And I think that any young kid, you're watching football is going to make you better, because you have someone to aspire to and be like. And it's easy for the boys because there's so much football on TV and so many highlighted players to look at. But from a girl's point of view, it's difficult.
Yeah, and it's important. And I suppose with the announcement that the next international is coming up in Cork, in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, is there a way the club could piggyback off the back of that, I wonder, as well? Get there's going to be obviously a lot of excitement with, the women's team coming here, like Katie McKay, Denise O'Sullivan's coming home, Megan and stuff like that as well. Is there a way that we can kind of jump on that bandwagon?
Yeah, no, and I think, look, I know a discussion we had a little while ago was about, around the World Cup, and, there should have been more stuff done. And I felt and I know I said it quite a lot at the time, that I just hope people don't just jump on a bandwagon for one game and one thing. And I think that we've got to continue to grow what we're doing. And I think we're doing that really well as a football club. I think we're growing the game consistently on a consistent basis with numbers and terms. And it's amazing to have that game here in Cork. And hopefully, if the FAI wanted to do something with you in terms of, look, we'll go out and promote whatever school girls club buys tickets for the international game, that they get a free ticket to a Cork City game, and trying to get more people going out to it. It's like work together instead of doing stuff, instead of it just being, we're having an international game there. We're going, well, look, there's 3 other clubs around that area that you can go and watch it, live women's football in, and the FAI should be doing stuff more like that.
Yeah, do you have much of a relationship with them in terms of, the internationals? Obviously, Eva was there. Did anybody touch base with you and say, like when she gets the call up, do you get notified or is it her herself?
I get an email.
Just an email.
Yeah,
no one picks up the phone. Like Eileen doesn't pick up the phone and say, we're taking her in.
No, nothing like that. Look, I'm assuming I'll get a phone call off them in the next couple of days. But like, look, we haven't had that much feedback about it, and it's probably very similar in the underage groups as well. Like, probably James Scott is the main person that really ring you up and be like, look, this is how camp went, these are areas to improve on, can you have a look at them in the club? And we have quite good dialogue with James Scott in terms of with Clodagh and things that we've noticed within her game that we feed back to them. So like, he works very well with you as a club, but look, I think it's an area that definitely needs to improve, and the more support they can give us, the more support we can give the player, because we have them on a consistent basis.
Yeah, you would think, especially whatever about maybe the senior international, but underage, you think it's vital because it's, progressing the game. You want the standards to get better, that they would even maybe touch base with you. Like I presume there's some sort of technical framework, or is there? Like, how does that work? Like, is there a technical director for the female game that I know, comes down and meets you or anything like that?
Well, we have a new head of women's football, and I'm assuming she just got into the role, so she's trying to figure things out. But no, not really.
They never come down and chat.
James Scott would come down and take sessions with the 19s, with the 17s, sorry, and be around quite a lot. And he'd have really good dialogue with you. But other than that, no, not really. I mean, Colin's been out to a few training sessions to have a look at the girls and stuff like that, and he has been out to some stuff, but I wouldn't say there's huge amounts of dialogue in terms of like, look, even for us as managers and coaches, like we need help and support. So it's like,
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah,
it'd be nice to bounce ideas off them in terms of going, hey, look, like we're looking at this, this is sort of thing, we're looking at that player, and like, how would you do this? What would you do differently? And I think that'll only help grow the game here. Like education is like, unless you're doing your UEFA qualifications in terms of like, there's nothing really for managers to progress and improve on. So like, how do we educate each other and help each other? And I know I've said it a couple of times that there should be a committee of the managers to get together and meet up once a month or once every few months and have a few discussions about issues that they might have had within their club to help each other, and issues that they might have or situations that might have arisen for them that other managers haven't had the chance to deal with but may get in the future. And they're all little things that we can all help each other with and educate each other on. And I think like more dialogue around that will be so much better.
Yeah, because you would think that, they could learn from the mistakes that maybe have been made with the men's game over the years and be more involved with the women's game, especially there's not that many clubs. There's only a handful, so it wouldn't be that hard to get round to all of them.
No, it wouldn't be, and I think that it's time consuming, and I think that there's a lot more things that are probably a priority to be organised and be done better. And I think that there's a lot of new people and new changes coming in. I have really good dialogue with Mark Scanlon. To be honest, he's always on the end of the phone. He's constantly out to have conversations with you. Probably more around me with referees, but I always have good conversation with him, and I think that he's trying to do the right things. Yeah, and he's always there. You see him at Turner's Cross. You see him in Dublin. He'll text you about games and about results, and he's very actively involved in what's going on. And I think that it's one person trying to, and he probably needs a little bit more help and support himself.
Were you disappointed to go to the All-Ireland Cup early, or, did you want to have a run at that, like?
Yes and no. Okay. We wanted to use it for a little bit more consistency in performance, but we kind of needed to, a little bit, to use it for us was to try and give some girls who haven't been getting game time some game time. So that was a little bit of that, and it's difficult in court because you try and get friendlies and you've got to travel to get them. So you're travelling to get friendlies, and trying to play teams around your area is harder because there's not enough League of Ireland clubs around here to play and have competitive games to give girls minutes and keep them fit and keep them match sharp. So it's a difficult one to do. So I know, look, over the off season we played a lot of boys teams, and I do think that's massively helped us. So it's trying to get games against the local boys teams, but then you're coming to the end of their season and there was so much backlog of games for them with the weather that we had over a period of time, that it was difficult to get games, so we had to use that really.
And when you say boys teams, like what level?
So we would have played a lot of like the Premier teams in under 14s and under 13s. We played Cove Ramblers and Kerry under 13s and 14s. They were both competitive games for us and really good for us, like from a physical attribute and how quick they moved the ball. And they're the things we're trying to improve on. Okay,
it's interesting. I'd say a lot of listeners would know that happens in kind of pre-season and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think I think from last year personally, we played pre-season games and we played some of the teams within our league, and we had an expectation of where we should be, and without really looking at the things we need to improve on. So when we played Treaty, Wexford, and Rovers last year, and we were really competitive in all of them, and won 2 of them, and we drew with Rovers, and now we're going into the season thinking, well, we can really compete. And I think it was really unrealistic. And playing the boys this year really highlighted areas that we needed to improve on, like so playing out from the back and playing in midfield, that your transitions to win the ball back quickly, that if you don't get back into shape quick with the boys teams, they can punish it very quickly. So it gave us a really clear understanding of how the game should look and what it should look like for us. And it really helped us for the season, and it's something we're going to continue to try and do.
Yeah, it's good to see, like that kind of, mixing the sport up a bit as well, just to try and get a bit more competitive. But speaking of local teams, the cup draw was made, and of all the teams that you could get, you get Douglas Hall.
Yeah, so me and James were actually down in the market down in town.
Yeah,
I'm not calling it what its name because something, so we're going to call it down at the market. But we were down there and we met the lads down there. They were actually at their 3v3 tournament with Querva coaching, and we went and had a look at it, and we met the lads down, and we said, like, I guarantee we'll get you in the cup now. It's a nice draw for us both at home, sort of thing. And when it was being done, I was sitting with Erica and Aina watching it, and I was like, as you're seeing the names come out, you're like going, oh, good, that's a good game. That's a good game. And I was sitting there, I was like, we're definitely going to get Douglas Hall. And then it come out, and you're like, and it's brilliant. Look, it's good for local football in the county. We're going to try and have a little bit of an earlier kick-off so that we can draw more people into the game. And we hope then, look, we get enough local kids from Douglas Hall come and watch, and enough Cork City fans to come and watch, that they come back and see the football that's on show, and they want to come back and watch more games.
Yeah, and you'd imagine the local media will really get behind that as well, because there's a nice story. It's the league team versus the local team kind of, and Douglas Hall have obviously a strong reputation of women's football over the years as well.
Yeah, no, Douglas Hall are a really good club for the female game, and they promote it and push it really well, and they do the right things in their football club to help with the girls' game. And look, we've got, I think, I was working out, I think like 4 or 5 girls that have played at Cork City at some stage and are now at Douglas Hall. So look, they're going to want to come and prove a point as well, and they're going to want to try and beat us. So we've got to go into the game, and you can't go into the game thinking, like, it's Douglas Hall, we should be winning it. We've got to go in and be really competitive and make sure that we turn up on the day and don't think it's going to be a walkover of a game, because it certainly won't be.
Yeah. But like, speaking of games, you don't have a game now until the 28th of June, is it?
Yeah.
Like, there seems to be a lot of stop-starts in the league. Like, I can imagine that's hard even from a training perspective.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, it is. It's frustrating. Like, you seem to always get to a point where you're doing well, and then you have a break for a week or 2-week break, and then you're like, to have the consistency of playing and playing. And you've got a lot of girls, like, for instance, doing their leaving cert and
is that why they kind of stopped at the moment, is it?
Yeah, and I think it's our turn to have our break, our bye week as well. So it's our turn to have the bye week, and then the next week you've got the All-Ireland Cup semi-finals, so that's why we've got another break then. But I could have been a bit more clever with that and said, right, well, there's 2 teams that are not in the All-Ireland Cup. Yeah. Why not play that weekend?
Yeah.
And like then we got like 3 weeks without a game. Like, it's just too long, and we've got to be really creative, but we've also got to understand that the girls have a life outside of football. So the girls who are doing exams and at college all the time and are working, like, this is a time for them to go on holiday.
Yeah, and you try and fit that in, because obviously there's only one weekend off usually, but no, there's a couple of weekends. So I'd imagine they're all booking
it's
the
a
holiday.
Headache. It's a headache, because look, all the girls want to go away and they want to go and have their life, like the life outside of football. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the point that, for me, from a selfish point of view, you don't want them being away. You want them, because then you're working back again to try and get them back fitness and to try and do stuff.
And of course, when they go away, they're enjoying themselves. Yeah. You'd imagine they're young as well.
I would have done the same thing. would have done the same thing at their age. And as a player, I'd have probably been 10 times worse. But, you know, for me, it's like you're on the other side of it now. So you've got to then like go, how can I get them back fit? How can I be more consistent? So like at the moment, the girls are off this week and they're off. It's like Eva's got a 2-week break because she came back from international and she was absolutely wrecked. So we gave them optional this week of 2 nights training. So the ones that are not away will train 2 nights and the girls then are back in 3 nights a week next week. And some are away. So the ones who are away are in this week and the ones who are away next week will be away. So it's a bit messy, but
it is messy, yeah.
It's what you have to do and it's just the way things are. And I always find it a little bit difficult in terms of managing that because I want them there and I want them at training and I want them to continue to push forward and keep growing and keep trying to get better. But you've also got to have that understanding that they do have a life outside of football and it's not their full-time job.
That is the tricky one. And I know there's a lot of students in it, so they probably have a bit more free time. So do you train them during the day as well, during the summer months when they're off? Or how does that work?
Yeah, so like we leave it open to the girls, like so if they want to train during the day and they've got extra hours that they want to come out and train, like myself and the staff make ourselves available to do extra work with them. So that I would take 2 of the girls today at 1 o'clock and I'll work with them at 1 o'clock, just working areas they want to improve on their game. And then they'll train tomorrow night, anyone who's available to train tomorrow night. And this is their week off really.
Okay.
So it's like, you will kind of, they do need it as well. And look, we all need it because it's been so intense between now and the start of the season.
Yeah.
That you all need that little break away from each other. So like, I'll be the only one, me and one or two of the other staff be out there, but the rest of them are not to be there because I want them to have their break away from it as well.
And what's the plan for the rest of the season? Come back in the 12 matches left. Realistically, what are your goals?
Realistically is to finish top half of the table.
Okay.
I think if we can continue to improve on the form we've improved on, then and we've currently had, then I think it's not unrealistic to say we can finish where we're currently at. The biggest thing for us is to make sure we pick up better results against the top 4 or 5 teams. So the likes of Peamount and Shelbourne and Galway, and when we play Athlone again, is like, can we keep them? Can we pick up some draws against them and maybe turn over a team and beat one? And then it's beating the other teams that are around us, like beating, DLR, Treaty, Wexford, and trying to beat them and trying to get results against them. And I think if we can pick up another 10 to 15 points, then we'll finish where we are at the moment. So, look, we've got our own little goals and where we want to finish. I think we're more looking at winning games than staying in games like we did last year. And now we're at a stage where we feel like, look, if we can finish top half of the table or top of the bottom half of the table, then I think we've had a really successful season.
And before we wrap it up, like looking back on the first, let's say, half of the season, I know we're not technically there, who's had the standout performances, who's improved the most, as much as you can say, obviously, without upsetting half the team, but...
Yeah, I think you've got to look at it, and I think Niamh Cotter probably has been quite a standout performer so far this year. But as I said to Niamh, like, you can't rest on what you've done so far. Like, you've got to continue to improve and get better. She's still going to make mistakes. I think she's not 17. She's 17 now, and she's still a baby, really.
Yeah.
And she's played nearly every game so far this year. And Heidi, Kira Senna have been good. Alex has done well at right back, and played well in the wing at the weekend. I think Orla Omani's been excellent. Probably someone who people don't notice as much in the games, but I think she's been unbelievable in terms of performance. Clodagh's been brilliant. Look, and all them girls I'm naming so far are under 18 years of age, and then you're looking at like Aveen Donnelly was exceptional the weekend, but we lose Aveen now because she has to go on work placement through college, so we won't have Aveen back till around the 18th of August. And then you look at the girls we brought in like Colleen, Doro, and Orla again, is like they've all added value to us, and they've all been brilliant, and they've bought into everything we want to do as a football club. And that's why I think we're having a success, because the girls we brought in are bringing the right people, and they've been exceptional in terms of how they performed, and they've bought straight into me and the club and what we expect from a day-to-day. And I think, look, it's hard to kind of name just a few people, but I think, look, Eva is always going to be a player that is going to stand out, and but she needs that support from other players around her. And a part of my conversation with Eva was this year, was when we was trying to keep her here this year, was that we did have a lot she had a lot of offers from other clubs, was that we need to get you more support and have better players around you to help you continue to grow. And I think we've been able to do that with the likes of Dora and Orla. They've allowed Eva to be a little bit further forward and be more productive in games, and that's a big thing for us, really.
Will you bring other players in towards the end of the season, or is that your squad now?
No, we have a couple of players coming in July. We can't sign anyone till the 1st of July, but we have. So yeah, look, they're more attacking positions.
Okay.
So we're looking
which might
to
help with the
strengthen
goal scenario.
Yeah, and I think, look, that's a big thing for us. It's like adding more pace in wide areas and being more productive in our wide areas and scoring more goals in them places. And look, we're really happy with where we're at centrally in the pitch. We need to improve in the wider areas. And look, potentially you could lose an Eva Mangan in July, and you could lose a Kira Senna in July, and because there's interest in them.
Yeah, like, and when you say there's interest in them, are you getting calls from clubs in, let's say, in England or even further afield at the moment about the girls and their availability, or even to come for trials or something?
Yeah, no, you do. Like, obviously with Kira Senna, it's a little bit more further afield because she's under 18.
Under 18 with Brexit.
So,
yeah,
so like, you know, look, there's interest in Kira Senna from a couple of, you know, Portuguese club and an Italian club, and they're interested in her. And look, we've got a couple of clubs interested in Eva from across the water, and you know, look, you know, it's got to be the right decisions for them as well, because at their ages now, if they're going to go somewhere, they've got to go somewhere and play.
Yeah.
Right. So, and what the girls have always been with me is very honest. So, and they trust me that I'll help them make the right decision. So, whatever decision's made from them, from a point of view, is about their development and them improving and going into the right places. And look, that's what we've got to do as a club, is help, not just want to have success on the pitch, we've got to help players as well reach their potential and play as high a level as they can. Do you want to lose players like Kira Senna and Eva? No, you don't. Like, you want to keep them here for as long as possible. So, you know, trying to keep them here till the end of the season is going to be an aim for us. And then hopefully they can, you know, move on to bigger and better things from there. And there's nothing wrong with that, because that's the realities of this league. Like, if they're going to go and make a career in playing football and have a life in playing football, it's very difficult to do it in this league, because the financial aspects of it are just not there. And unless it's highly funded from the government and the FAI, it's always going to be difficult to do and retain the best players.
Yeah, and I'd imagine for them, finishing their educational experience as well might be another big issue in terms, because obviously even when they go abroad, the payment is not like what somebody will get in the men's game, you know. No. So they have to be very careful and make a sensible decision too, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and that's why we try to provide the things that we provide, like with UCC is a massive help to be able to keep girls here and trying to provide that education. And look, Eva's in at UCC at the moment and she's doing teaching, and you know, I think it's important for her to finish that, and she feels that as well. Kira Senna's doing her leaving cert at the moment. I'd say Kira Senna has zero interest in going to college, but
get that in the bag anyway. Yeah, at least she's nearly finished.
Get your leaving cert done, see what happens, and then look, we'll have UCC available for Kira Senna, depending on what she decides to do. I think she wants to play football on a more full-time basis instead of going into college, and that's her dreams and her aspirations, and we have to support them as well as a club.
And do any of the American universities try and approach them then? You know, like obviously because you have a lot of young players that you say leaving cert, even younger than that. You know, in other sports, that's where a lot of the Irish girls go. Like, you know, do they ever come for the...
When girls approach about, like, obviously I worked in America for nearly 4.5 years, and part of my role was like dealing with the top 10 schools in the country. And like, unless you're going to America and you're solely going there for your education just to enjoy playing football, there's no point going there.
Okay.
Like, if you're looking to go there and be a professional footballer, the reality are you're going into a bigger pool of players.
Yes.
And you've got very little. Yeah, like look at Ava Romani, like she's come back. She done well at the colleges she was at, but to go into the top league in America, you've got to go into a draft. Then you've got to be selected from the draft, and then you've got to be one of the top 20 players out of hundreds of thousands. Yes. Whereas if you're the top 10 player out of a couple of thousand in this country, you've got a better chance of going and playing at an elite level. So be really, like, I wouldn't say if I was looking to be a professional footballer, I wouldn't be going to America to do it.
Yeah, I suppose it's different to something like athletics or golf or something like where the individual sports, the team sports, they have so many players, I suppose.
Yeah, and you look on a roster in an American college, you're probably looking at 50 to 60 players per team. Like Chapel Hill would be a big one for me, is like they play 2 different teams. So like they'll go 25 minutes, they'll make 7 subs. Then they'll bring them back on in the second half and the other 7 come off, and it's like, it's crazy, like, because you've got to try and play a certain amount of minutes and keep everyone happy, and the rosters have to be big from a financial aspect for the school, and obviously schools have to provide a certain amount of money for the women's teams because they don't have an American football team on the women's side, so the money that gets put into the American football team has to be represented on the women's side as well. So the big rosters and the big amount of players and the funding that's available is really based around education.
Yes, so it's good for education, but in many ways, so it's nearly better our system whereby they get to play, top football, play, a competitive league, but also get their education with UCC. You know what I mean? It's nearly a better system.
It is a better system, and it makes more sense for girls to stay here, get their education here, and then move across from wherever they want to go then after that. But like, more clubs need to have more access to universities and colleges, and that's something we should be really pushing for as football clubs, because if we can get them things in place, then girls got a level of education, and I think tying in with the universities and maybe having I know May Newfad, Kieran Kilduff was in there as a coach, so is it worth having more of the senior coaches or coaches within your football club working within the colleges so you can attract players to come to that college, but you can also attract them to come into your football club.
A bit like what Greg is doing with the men's side of it at the moment, his role at UCC, but also with the under-20s. It's the same type of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I tried that with MTU a little bit last year, and it was just a little bit more difficult because if girls are going to come to court, they're going to go to UCC. So it was a little bit more difficult to try and do it that way, but I think that doing it with UCC in terms of the players that we're bringing into Greg at the moment and into UCC and providing them with, we're probably going to have nearly 11 girls across over the last 2 years that are going to be playing in at UCC in their college team and playing for Cork City Football Club.
Yeah, so that's a really strong relationship between the two.
Yeah, it's huge. It's massive. It's massive for us, and it's brilliant for the university because they'll have success in their program and they'll have achievements. And Eva going play international is massive for their program and getting called into the Island set up. So the financial rewards that they've put into Eva from helping her with her study will hopefully attract more girls coming there as well.
So is there potential that come August when the CEO is done and all of that and there's people looking for places and they do their scholarships in UCC that you attract players from up the country?
Yeah, if they've put UCC down.
They're decent.
Yeah. So it's trying to figure out who's actually done that and kind of reaching out to them through their friends and be like, oh, make sure you put UCC down and, have them on as one of your options. So
I think it's too late to change the CEO. I think it's gone,
but look, you'll get some girls who won't quite make what they wanted at a different college, but they could make it at UCC, and it's then knowing that they've applied for that you can turn and go, look, we can help you with that at UCC and help you provide you with that. And they're the little things we're trying to do as a club and try to find out who's done what and what people have done and how we can help them if they have applied for it, or put it as one of their options that we can say, look, if you end up going there, we can support you with that. So they're the little things that you're trying to do. Like Orla Omani is a prime example of that. She was at Shamrock Rovers last year and she's doing paramedic, wants to do a new paramedic course at UCC. So we said that we could help her with that and help her support her if she gets the right points. So if she doesn't get the points, she's not going anywhere anyway because I won't let her go. But so we can help her with that and help her provide her with her program and get her onto that through our links with UCC. So it's attracted her to here.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's very, it's different recruitment. There's so many different parts to the game that I think maybe a lot of people don't see. They just, see turn up for the game, but it's even planning. Thinking where's the next player is going to come from? How do I lure them in when I can't pay them? Yeah. It's all of those parts or something.
Yeah, it is, and you've got to be creative with it. And it's like reaching out to people for a laugh, because I'd be on the phone at 1 o'clock in the morning with agents from New Zealand and places like that where they've got European players over playing in New Zealand who are not really playing. So I don't have to worry about visas and stuff like that to get them here.
Yeah.
It's about giving them an opportunity to showcase their self, that they could potentially come here, do well, and see what happens from there. And that's kind of what you're offering to players. You're offering them an environment to come and progress and develop and get better. And then you're providing them that they can hopefully then, it's down to them then to see where they can go from there.
Well, hopefully you get some decent players in before the end of the season, and that it ends up being not that it's a bad first half of the season, but an even better second half of the season.
Yeah, no, I think that if we can have the same second half to what we've had the first half, I think then we've had a successful year.
Yeah.
And it has been good. But we always want more, and we always want to get better, and we always want to win more. And I think, we have to be realistic with where we're at in terms of the outlook of the whole league and what we provide and what other clubs can provide. And we have to be realistic that where we're at is a really good. We're overachieving at the moment, but we've overachieved in the players we've brought in. So that's why we are where we are.
Yeah, well, look, Danny, best of luck with the rest of the season. I'm sure we'll have you in towards the end, unless there's a cup run or something like that. We might want to get you in before that or something. But best of luck and thanks for coming in again. No. And the first person to be in two times.
Oh no, yeah, no. As I always said, like the podcast have been nothing out of me in the first one, so I've got you to where you are now. So hopefully we can
put us in the charts.
Yeah, it started off their season well, so hopefully this kicks up the rest of it. But no, look, ideally we'd love to have it get as close as far as we can in the FAI Cup. But we've got to concentrate on beating Douglas Hall first.
Brilliant. Yeah, and I think another honest reflection. We were on about honesty at the start of the podcast. I think that was a very honest reflection from Danny.
Yeah, definitely. And look, we've spoken about it in the weeks previous as well on the podcast. It's been a really good season so far. We're sixth in the table. Some of the teams we're ahead of, DLR Waves, Bows, Sligo were brilliant last year. We're ahead of them. Treaty United as well I think we're ahead of Treaty with all the players they brought in. It's been a really good season. And the good thing about it is I think Danny and the players are probably still not 100% happy with it and they wanted more, which, look, that's brilliant. That's exactly what you want from your manager and your players. And as you said there to him, hopefully the second half of the season is just as good, if not better.
Yeah, but it's exciting. There was a kind of a little twinkle in his eye. He's optimistic about the players that are coming in. I think they're going to make an impact.
Yeah,
a couple of attacking players. Because I did say that 6 goals in 8 games is not a massive return, even though they got a couple of wins out of that.
Yeah.
If you could get another few goals, where would we? We could have drawn some matches, maybe even.
That's the thing. There's been a couple of performances where there's been draws or narrow losses. If chances have been taken, you're in a different position altogether. And like as Danny said, Colleen is popping up with a lot of goals, but you want to add more around her as well. That can both chip in with goals themselves or feed her more to get her more goals, which is brilliant. He obviously mentioned Colleen and Darrow and Barrett. The other signings he brought in this year, everyone has been sort of a positive addition. Colleen's been brilliant. We announced her there as May Player of the Month. Great start to her career at City. She's been absolutely, she's hit the ground running, which is brilliant to see. And look, the more players we can come in to complement that and replicate that, the better.
It was interesting to hear off the back of, I suppose, the international duty and stuff like that, but with the senior team and some of the underage, that there's interest around some of the girls, in particular, the likes of Eva and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I know he doesn't want them to go, but we were making this point before, come look at these players before they go off onto the big time.
That's the thing. What I mean? You know what? Anyone who's ever been to a Cork City women's game at the Cross, you could pinpoint a number of players where you're saying there's definitely clubs in England or abroad watching her because she's that good.
Yeah.
Eva, the prime example, obviously coming off the back of being in the Ireland squad as well. As you said, you don't want to lose players, you want to keep them as long as we can, but there is a sense of come see them while they're here.
There is, and I suppose even talking to Danny there as well, it feels like the league in this country resembles kind of like the college system in America. You get to a level, you get your education done, you play at a good level, but if you're really, really good, you go on to the next part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it feels, because that's when you earn money. Unfortunately, they don't earn money in the league here yet. Hopefully there will come a time when they will.
Yeah, I think it'll reach that point, definitely. Interesting as well what Danny was saying about, like, in America, a lot of young players will go there because they see it as like, oh, this is brilliant.
The dream, yeah.
Is it really? Like when you see, the odds are kind of stacked against you the second you get off the plane.
Yes.
When you look at the number of players, whereas if you're over here, there's a much smaller pool that you can kind of reach, the pinnacle of being in Ireland, in football in Ireland, much faster than you could over there.
It is 11, did he say 11 with UCC that are getting a scholarship there, playing with them as well. Obviously Eva's one of them. She's already now proven that you can do that.
Yeah.
You can study and then
you can mix it all together.
And play for your country at the same time. No, she didn't obviously get game time, but that'll come.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think this is going to be a one and done where she's in one squad. It's kind of like a novelty call up. I think she's one of the names the last couple of years where, she was included in this squad, which is great, but people are kind of saying, she could have been included in some of the last couple of squads as well, which, look, that's where she is as a player. As you said, it's brilliant that, you know, you can combine being a college student and being an international footballer at the same time. It's something that's
brilliant.
The league and Cork City as a club with this scholarship opportunities with UCC, like, that's a brilliant partnership to have. Do you know what I mean? It's brilliant. A brilliant thing to be able to say to a player, look, we can help you out here. But yeah, no, it's brilliant to see. And like, the main thing, as I was saying there, I don't think that's going to be a last call up for her either. No. And I don't think she will be the last one from Cork City or the league.
Sounds of it, there's some of the younger girls coming up as well that are going to
hopefully
get in there as well. But speaking of call ups, another former player got his first full debut last night, Jacob Ryan.
He did, he did very well, didn't he?
He played very well against...
He did well when he came on.
It wasn't his fault that Ronaldo got the 2 goals.
I know, yeah. Not really much you can do there when you're up against Ronaldo.
No, but he wasn't marking him at the time either. But any time the ball came in, he was getting it away. But also, very good on the ball.
Yeah, he doesn't look sort of out of his depth or uncomfortable. No. He looks like he's been at this game a long time, doesn't he?
I don't know, such a young player. In the French league or what, like, but his playing out from the back... very strong compared to the other Irish players that were there last night. Yeah. He looked confident when he passed it out. It was some of the midfielders were letting him down at times. They were losing it, but you know.
Yeah, no, he looks confident, and look, it's brilliant for us to see, for people in the academy, you know, his former coaches, former teammates.
Must be brilliant for like Liam and stuff like that as well, like to see one of their own.
Yeah, he's progressed through. I don't know what age he came into us at, but like that's a brilliant reflection on the club and the academy, but obviously on Jake as well.
On Jake,
what he's gone on to do. And the interest, like Dermot was talking about it last week, there's clubs, huge clubs linked with him.
Yeah. Borussia Dortmund was the latest one.
And from watching him, like, I don't think there's any of those clubs that you'd feel he'd be out of his depth going into. I think he's well able, yeah.
Well able. I mean, he was the most probably talked about player online last night from what I could see. A lot of people were saying, you know, there's a lot of pessimistic views around the Irish team at the moment, but this is one bright star coming through. Along with the likes of Evan Ferguson, obviously, you know what I mean? But
no, it's brilliant for him. It's brilliant for us Cork people. You know, we're very territorial. And
in fact, we had 3 in the first team last night. Like, you know, You know, so.
But it's Cork against the world and all that. But it's brilliant for him.
No, it's fantastic. That's probably all you could talk about with that game anyway, because they lost the game anyway, 3-0. But
I know, yeah.
But actually, I see Marco Manni played for the under-21s as well yesterday.
He did, and they had an interview up with him, kind of like one of the walk and talk interviews there on their Twitter. Was really good.
Yeah.
But another shining star example of what can come through the Cork City Academy and the value that provides. He got a look in there with Brighton towards the end of the season, helped in part due to Evan Ferguson being out, so he made that step up, which is brilliant for him. He took his opportunity. And
he started against England's under-20s, you know, so that'd be like a good standard.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, see, they had Jedward in goal. See that yesterday? Talking about great international performances. Like,
that's a bit unfair having the 2 lads in goal. Like,
I know, yeah.
And I thought they were Irish.
I know, they're mad for claiming Irish fellas, aren't they? But brilliant for Mark. And look, if he's another player that can step up to senior international team in the next couple of years, and it's another player that we can the biggest talk about on social media and claim as one of our own.
The biggest challenge is we're producing forwards left, right and centre.
I know, yeah.
Doesn't like even from Cork City, you have Mark and Franco already after breaking in under it, like, and they're
Chidozie gone over as well. Yeah,
Chidozie, like from the club, like, never mind like the other players that are there, like Evan Ferguson. Tom Cannon came on last night as well. There's loads of young forwards.
Yeah. We've got Jake as well in the centre, and I suppose David Harrington's in the squad as well.
That's right.
So we've got everything except a midfielder now.
Yeah, we need midfielders.
We need a couple of midfielders.
I know Alan Brown is missing at the moment, but we need some young midfielders.
Yeah. Give us a couple of years. Yeah.
There's a couple. There's 1 or 2 in particular that have shone this season. I think that potentially we'll see them.
I don't think it's a stretch to imagine them in an Ireland shirt in a couple of years' time.
But so I suppose the big thing this weekend, I suppose, there's 2. We have, obviously, El Clasico Cork tomorrow night.
El Clasico. Did you see the league account called it El Corkico? That's horrendous. I don't know who's responsible for that, but that's disgraceful. El Clasico Cork is the way to go.
Yeah. No, like, look, I know we've beaten them comfortably in the last 2 games, but we still can't underestimate.
Definitely not. Look, Cork City against Cove Ramblers is a massive game, like, in terms of competitiveness.
Yeah,
it's always up there. It's always one of those games that, you know, it's
take
a local
derby.
derby.
Goal, you're in trouble. Like,
exactly. Yeah. Thursday night is a bit strange.
Thursday night football. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's weird.
because of the
But
Euros.
it's good though, too, though.
Yeah, it's good. Look, it's an interesting one to try anyway.
Yeah.
We'll see what way it affects the crowd, either positively or negatively. But hopefully
it
a
won't
good one.
wait is the last one.
I know, yeah.
I know there is rain forecast.
Yeah, I put out a tweet about that there on the club account about, the weather will be better, hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I should have checked the weather forecast, to be honest. It's sunny now. Why would I expect it to be raining? But
I don't want to speak too soon, but there's no way it could be as bad as the last time.
God, no. It won't.
That was like Riverdance.
Yeah, it was bad, alright, wasn't
it? You know, it was...
I'll tell you what, Mick Ring is away. So if it is that bad, I don't know who's washing the jerseys. But the mud might set
Just
in.
as well, they have a 2-week break.
Oh, we'll have to fleece the club shop, I'd say.
We'll be bringing stuff in,
Yeah, no, hopefully now it's another good game. Another clean sheet, hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah.
You're talking about them if they get an early goal.
13
it could be
clean sheets so far this season, is
mad,
it?
isn't it?
Yeah.
That's incredible. In 20 games.
That's brilliant. You know, fair play to Brad.
Yeah.
And the defence.
The defence
Obviously,
as
it's
well,
not just
yeah.
Brad.
You look at the team of the weeks there, the last couple of weeks. Coleman is in there. Charlie's in there. Evan, since he moved to left back.
Yeah.
And his scoring from left. He's scoring more goals at left back than he did when he wasn't at left back.
Yeah.
And then Harry and Dara have both filled in at right back. So look, the whole back line and Brad obviously in goal. Brilliant. Incredible.
There's definitely people moving around in positions at the moment between Evan going back there, Connor kind of moving up towards the front. He looked like more of a forward the other night.
Yeah.
You know, like it just people...
Bit of fluidity, all right, isn't there?
Yeah. Well, look.
It's working.
It's working.
Yeah,
Look,
it's working.
We'll take a while it's there. Is there spaces left in the corner flag for it?
There's tickets available for that still. It's filling up nicely, so if you haven't already, I would get those as soon as possible. Another thing for Thursday, is our friends from the Crown Centre will be there.
Oh, yes.
They had their walk and roll initiative last weekend.
Yeah.
And they'll be doing a bucket collection at the ground. We did the same last year.
Just coins, or do they have an old tap thing as well?
I'm not 100% sure on that.
Because some of the charities now have a tap thing, you know.
I think from memory they had a tap one last year.
Yeah.
But really successful last year. I'd imagine it'll be the same this year.
Yeah.
The players will be wearing Crown Centre t-shirts in the
Very
warm-up, which is brilliant. And yeah, if you're in a position to support, please do. You can donate online as well. We'll have links up for that. But yeah, that's something. Look, the Crown Centre do incredible work out here. We've mentioned them loads of times. We record the podcast out here.
Yeah,
they're a great partner
always
to
nice
us. It's something we as a club are really passionate about.
And
working
they're
with
always
them
asking us how we're doing at the moment. It's lovely when you come in.
I know everyone out here is Cork City
on.
fans. Yeah, it's and look, they're at the cross every Friday as well.
Yeah.
Pádraig especially.
Pádraig, I see him in that.
But yeah, look, it's a great partner for us to have. We're very proud of it, and we'd be delighted if as many people as possible could support that tomorrow night.
On Friday then there's a chance to support the academies and stuff like that with the foot golf.
The foot golf, yeah, we've been talking about it for a couple of weeks, and it's here. Yeah. It's this Friday down in Kinsale. Still some spaces available there, so if you want to book, you can get in touch with Anthony. So Anthony at corkcityfc.ie. €80 for a team. Going to be great fun. I'm playing it myself. Never done it. Looking forward to it. But yeah, it's another important fundraiser. Dermot talked about the importance of them last week in terms of getting money in for the academy sides and the women's teams. So if you're looking for something to do on Friday, there's tea times available from 9 in the morning right down to 6 in the evening. So get in touch.
Very good. Excellent. And there's also tickets on sale for the comedy event.
Yeah, the comedy night.
I saw the ad for it there last week. I actually saw the Everyman putting it up, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of circulating a bit now. So yeah, those are on sale. You can go onto the Everyman's website, or we've a short link set up, corkcityfc.ie/comedy. That'll bring you straight to the ticketing page. But it's €35 for a ticket. It's going to be class. We spoke about it before. Andrew Ryan, Chris Kent, John Calleary, Emma Doran and Shane Todd. They're all hilarious. It's going to be class.
We're hoping to get Andrew on the podcast in the next few weeks.
Yeah, we'll have him on over the next couple of weeks. That's lined up. We've a good few guests lined up, actually. We've a few interesting ones. I think Colleen is going to be coming in next week. We were raving about her start to the season there. So yeah, we've a couple of interesting guests coming up over the next couple of weeks to keep us ticking away through the summer.
Keep us ticking away. We'll still guide you through the summer because it obviously is summer football.
Yeah, we might do a live one from a beach or something somewhere. Will we get in the sun? Well, not if it's raining anyway, like tomorrow.
We'll go to the Euros. We'll do it from Germany.
I know. Yeah, who's going to win that actually?
It's a tricky one. Yeah, this is our Euro preview, is it?
Yeah, it may as well be. Yeah. It's that week, like it's obvious. Like, look, just putting it out there. Match day graphic tomorrow morning is obviously going to be Euros themed. Like, it has to be.
You'd have to fancy France, I suppose, would you?
France, England, and Portugal, I would say, are the top three.
Is it coming home? I don't know.
God, no, I hope not.
Well, it never was.
Someone was
home.
asking me.
What was it Casper Schmeichel said in the last one? Was it ever home because they never won the European Championship?
Or when the Italians won it, and was it Bonucci was screaming, "It's coming Rome."
It's coming Rome, yeah.
Someone was asking me, who will we support?
It's going to Rome, isn't it?
Yeah.
All the Irish people were singing that, it's going to Rome.
Someone was like, who we support? I was like, yeah, whoever England are playing. Yeah. We can't have that. Imagine now listening to Danny and James on a Saturday. God, no.
I wonder, yeah, maybe that's the question. Maybe we should ask on Spotify who are you supporting and who are the Cork City fans supporting in the Euros, because we do have Cork City fans that are probably from all various countries as well.
Tell you what, you see the white Italy jersey? That'd be a lovely Cork City jersey. You nearly have to support them by, it's Cork City flag. You nearly have to just pick them. Or Hungary as well.
There's a lot of Italians in Cork. Ukraine obviously are in it as well. A lot of Ukrainians.
Yeah.
Spanish and Portuguese, a lot of, huge populations. Even Albania are in it this year. A couple of Albanians.
Everyone except Ireland is in it. It's great, isn't it? For God's sake. Yeah. We'll be in the next one. We'll be fine.
We'll be in.
We're hosting the next one, aren't we?
I think
28.
We probably still won't make that one. But well, hopefully we'll make it.
We'll have some works done on the cross there now. We'll host the semi-final of the cross.
We might make the next World Cup, 2026 is in the US. You go back to Vegas then for...
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but
we'll see.
we said it to Danny a while ago, but there is international football coming up anyway. There's the women's team are playing France in Parc y Cuivre.
Parc y Cuivre, yeah, brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, in July. So
it gives sort of like the bottom half of the country the opportunity to go see them, which is brilliant. I'm raging. I'm actually away for it. I'm leaving that morning. So
yeah, I might actually be missing for it as well. Yeah,
I heard it was coming. It was brilliant. I didn't actually look at the date. The fixture was down for.
Yeah.
So I was really looking forward to it, and then I saw the date that it was here.
And you're missing for the friendly as well, yeah.
I tell you what, I booked a week off because we'd no game. Right, there was meant to be a quiet week. Now Ireland are playing at Parc y Cuivre.
Yeah.
We're playing Stoke. We're playing Finn Harps in the Cup.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention about the cup
it's
draw.
It's going to be
for the we mentioned the women's one earlier on, but
Finn Harps in the Cup. That's going to be a busy holiday for me. I'll be doing 2 match programs in the sun, which will be great.
You'll have to get anti-glare for the screen.
And I'm back. I'm back on the Friday of the Kerry game.
Yeah.
So I have to do a Kerry match program, Finn Harps match program. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, so we're playing Stoke on. Is it
Stoke on the Wednesday? Yeah.
Yeah, it's Wednesday. And I'm sure I saw something yesterday that they've just changed their manager or their coach or something.
Did they?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you, to be honest.
Their first team coach. Nowadays I don't know, but the first team coach is an actual manager.
There's first team coach, head coach, manager.
Yeah.
Football people.
Before there was manager, assistant manager, kit man. Now there's about 20 lads down the side of the pitch. I don't know who's in charge.
I know, yeah.
So I know I saw something on Sky Sports about it. So yeah, we'll see. I
know John Walters is there. He's
from behind the scenes, is he?
Yeah, he was at Fleetwood for a while, with Fleetwood and Waterford, wasn't it? But he's at Stoke now. Don't know what the actual job title is. But
Rocky might come to the cross that night, so to catch up with his old friend.
I might have to cancel this holiday. But we'll see how that goes. That'll be a fun one. We played them 2 years ago, and they had a really big crowd actually.
Yeah,
really big crowd over for it, which was good.
It's nice having some of them championship teams come off because they usually bring crowds. Actually,
they do. It's like quick hop over the water there. Yeah. Like it's an hour on the plane to get over. So brilliant. Yeah, always a good occasion.
So tickets on sale for that at the moment?
Not yet. No, they'll be on sale soon. But
but at least it's fixed now. It's happening.
Yeah, 17th, Wednesday the 17th, 7:45.
I know they were worried about announcing the fixture because there was potentially loads of fixtures going to happen in Turner's Cross.
Yeah, we just kind of needed to ride it out and wait for the cup draw to see kind of the lay of the land after that. But there's
a few Cork teams got each other. Actually, it was quite funny.
There was, yeah. I feel, you know what? I was hoping for one of them. I feel bad for Finn Harps because we have them in the league the week before.
A lot of travelling for them.
They're in Turner's Cross in the league. Then the following week they're in Turner's Cross for the cup, and then the following week they're in Limerick. So. Thank God that's not us, to be honest.
Their transport costs are going to be through the roof that week.
Oh, God, yeah. That's going to be rough. But
yeah, no, listen, there's an opportunity in the Cup. Look, obviously we have to get past Harps, but some of the big teams are playing each other.
Yeah, Rovers, Bows, Dundalk, Drogheda. Who do Pats have?
I think it's Derry and Pats, is it?
Yeah, like there's a lot of big teams going to be knocked out there early doors.
Yeah.
So
this is our chance.
We had a run last year. We got to the semi-final last year.
Yeah.
We mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. I would love to work.
Well, you said, you've never done the Aviva.
I would absolutely love it. Never mind working it. Obviously, first and foremost, I'm a Cork City fan. I'd love to be back in an FAI Cup final.
That'd be brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah.
It used to be our home for a few years there.
I know, yeah.
But look, one step at a time.
Exactly. We'll get back there, no problem.
Yeah. So, yeah, get down to the cross, football Friday, and, we'll be back next week.
We'll be back next week, yeah. If you haven't already listened back to that Dermot Usher interview last week.
Yes.
Really good feedback, as we said. We've got a message in, actually, as well. A guy who worked with Philip Long in Hickson's. He sent an email to the club saying he really enjoyed the pod. So
that's cool.
Nice walk down memory lane there with Phil Long talking about Hickson's in the day.
Do you know what? It's nice when people that maybe they're not always involved in the club, and all of a sudden something triggers them to listen to the podcast in.
And hopefully we hook them back in.
Yeah. That's nostalgia kicks in, and
exactly
away you go.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
Yeah, brilliant to have messages like that. Look, we said it before. If you have any feedback or anything you want to let us know, send us a message.
No, I got some nice feedback there during the week as well. It's lovely. So thanks to all those who sent in messages and stuff like that. Yeah,
we said it before. We appreciate that. We appreciate the ratings on Spotify, the follows on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. So, make sure you're following us there so you don't miss out on anything. But we're pretty much done, are we?
Yeah. Talk to you next week.
Again, we'll see you next week.